Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Two Opinionated. I'm so excited. Today, I've got the writer, director, and one of the cast of the movie River Road that's out on Apple right now.
That's right. It's out, Apple TV.
Yeah. So I'm pretty excited. So Rob, you wrote, directed, and Lexi, you're one of the stars. So welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Cheers. Thanks for having us, Michael.
Yeah. It's such a good movie.
Oh, you
really
liked
good
it?
job. Yeah,
Cool.
I loved it. We had we watched it like we're in the studio. And we've got a room set up to watch where we can put like 15 people or so in there. So we had the family over to watch it.
Oh, nice. It's a family film, actually.
Oh.
Now streaming Disney Plus, kids.
Well, luckily, all my kids are grown.
Oh,
so
perfect.
it was okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. No young ones in there. But
Okay.
but the reviews are in
Mm.
A+. Everybody loved it.
Yeah.
Really? Okay, cool. That's good to hear. That's good to hear.
Yeah. It was it's so tense.
Yeah.
You know, like it has you on edge a lot of the movie.
Yeah, that's the plan. I'm glad it worked. We're trying to ramp up the tension, with Zoe and, getting all crazy by the end there. She's looking pretty rough.
Poor
as far
Zoe.
as addiction wise goes.
Poor Zoe, hey.
So let's start here. So Rob, tell me a little bit about River Road. Where did the idea come from? And what's it about?
Yeah, well, it's kind of a, modern day Bonnie and Clyde love story a little bit. That's kind of the first inkling of, the idea. I actually had another actor friend who I originally wrote it for. And that was the game plan, and then you just kind of start thinking of how do they get from A to B to Z, and this at the end of the day, it's a bit of a genre flick, the thriller element, a bit of a heroin subgenre movie, and they have to rob a drug dealer at some point, so you kind of have that in there, and then you just kind of map out what you want to happen, and you just kind of try to make the movie that you'd want to see. I mean, if someone told me about just kind of an indie film from Vancouver that's gritty, I think that's the best way to approach it, is just try to make the movie you want to see, create the characters that you want to hang out with and be entertained by. And that was the game plan, and hopefully we pulled it off.
Yeah, it reminded me of like the really gritty type of movie that you might watch like back in the 80s. If that makes sense. That's the feel I got from it, where you would just kind of be on the edge of your seat and you're in the theater and you got your popcorn and it's just, your heart's pounding. You're just waiting. I thought it was terrific.
That's great to hear. That's exactly what we want, is like, we definitely were pretty bold trying to like, have it be a gritty, punch movie, keep the tension up. So if that worked, Michael, that's good to hear,
Yeah, it was really good. So Lexi, you play Zoe. Tell me about Zoe. How did the role come about? How did you get pitched the project, or did you just audition and get the role? Tell me a little bit about Zoe.
Yeah, well, Rob and I have worked together in the past on a couple of music videos. And so it just kind of, an email was sent, the script landed in my lap. I read it in like half an hour and was enthralled by Cash Dirty and Fresno. And of course, the pacing was really fun to read, because you start thinking it's going to go one way and then it totally flips it on its head and goes a different way. So I auditioned. Allegedly, my first audition was terrible, but Rob decided to bring me back for a callback. And
he saw something in you.
It wasn't terrible. It just needed some finessing. That's all.
Yeah. And so we had an in-person audition where I basically just screamed for like 20 odd minutes, and we had a really good session. And then, next thing you know, we were having meetings and I got the part.
Yeah, well, as we talked about, Michael, around here, they film a lot of kind of Hallmark movies or CW shows.
Yeah.
And so Lexi's first audition, she was all dressed up nice and proper and looking clean cut. And I was like, Lexi, we got to take it to another level here. And by the second audition, she had like smeared makeup, wearing black, like fucking smoking. She's like, what, am I good to go? So that was kind of the vibe. And then we're like, oh, okay, I think she's ready.
Yeah, that's pretty great. Most of the best auditions are just screaming, I think. You know, those are the ones you want to watch.
Yeah, it was very cathartic. It was fun.
Yeah, so when you finished auditioning, though, were you like worn out? Were you wiped out?
I think I was wiped out, but I had a really good feeling about the next steps. It was, I mean, it's really hard sometimes as an actor to know whether or not. Sometimes you think you've nailed it and you don't get the part. Sometimes the opposite is true. And so just the collaboration with Rob and the team was really something that helped me think that maybe I had this. And then we did have some follow-up conversations and sort of shaped the character and where we wanted to go with things before we officially made the casting.
Yeah. Yeah. So my oldest, my daughter, said to let you know, Lexi, that she's a fan of the Fixer Upper mysteries.
Oh.
So when we're watching, she's like, I know her.
Oh my gosh. My first ever recognition. I'm so proud. I should say recognition not from my own family. So that's fantastic. Yeah, that was my first big role, was playing the girl next door who gets tragically murdered, and then the mystery is solved. So it was kind of fun to be.
That's Lexi, what she said.
Yeah, Lexi, I don't know if you know this, Lexi, but you're huge in West Virginia. Like, yeah,
big,
up,
big in West Virginia.
I'm
you need to come do the convention circuit. Come through. We have those the Fixer Upper mystery conventions.
Oh, nice. Yeah, well, the producer did say he wanted to write a prequel. I'm still waiting for that. It's been a few years, but I'm sure they're still working on it.
You never know. It takes time.
Mm-hmm.
And we got slowed down. The pandemic slowed us down.
That's true. I definitely, for me, and I'm sure a lot of actors experienced it, a lot of auditions dried up and a lot of filming dried up during that time.
Yeah, for sure. Did that slow down the filming, Rob? Did you guys
we
have
shot
any
it before.
delays? Okay.
We shot it before, so then we were just in post. We'd actually had one screening, I think, before. So to be honest, in a weird way, maybe it worked to our advantage a little bit, because I was able to take more time to edit the movie, and really, it did slow it down a lot. There was a break period when things were really crazy. But yeah, it allowed me to tweak the movie and add a bunch of things and polish it up. So in a weird way, it helped. But then again, we did have a bit of a theatrical release in the States, and that was a problem too with the Delta virus in the fall. So we kind of planned it out, and here we are, ready to rock River Road. Finally
it's like it gets a bigger release this Friday, right? Like it's going to hit Amazon and
it's going to hit
Amazon,
Google Play, and YouTube Movies. So it's going to be it's going to be out there. So hopefully people are interested and catches a little buzz. No,
it's really good. I think the writing's terrific. So kudos with that. But I thought you did a really good job with the casting. You brought in some really good actors. So talk a little bit about that. How did you come up with this particular cast?
Well, it's definitely got a bit lucky. I mean, we talked about Lexi. I did have actually two lead actors who it didn't work out with. So it was last minute. We had about a week left. We had start date, and we kind of had to make the start date because of our schedules and just the weather and everything. So we had a week left, and I knew Cody Kearsley. I was a first AC camera assistant on a show that he was on in Victoria, or like kind of a web series thing.
Yeah.
And so I just kind of messaged him, reached out. We were reaching out to like every actor we knew in Vancouver, and he was responsive, and he got back to me, auditioned, and within a few hours he was in the role, ready to go. And then with Steven, again, we knew a lot of friends of friends, and he came and auditioned. Cash Dirty, the record producer, I don't know if you remember like the comedy element there. A couple scenes I saw him at a stand-up club called Hecklers at my buddy's bachelor party, and then I was like, I wrote the role for him. So there's all sorts of little connections, and then someone else who would audition for Lexi's role, we gave a supporting role, just like things like that. Yeah.
What's that like though when you have somebody for a role, especially a lead role, and then it falls through at the last minute? I mean, that had to have you in a panic a little bit.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'd say that the week before production starts is always just a shit show, panic fest. Locations drop out. Again, lead actors drop out. So yeah, we were panicking, we were stressed, but the only way is to forge ahead, Michael, and get it done. You got to grind it out. And actually, those are some tough spots, right before when things didn't work out. I mean, yeah. But hey, if you power through, you can make it happen. So.
Yeah. So Lexi, who helped you with the look? Because you look pretty rough.
I do look pretty rough. I mean, a lot of this process was stuff that we did ourselves. We did have a makeup artist do the kind of technical stuff, like the wounds and the bullets and stuff, but a lot of it was myself, and the fact that we were shooting for 30 days almost consecutively helped a lot with making me look like garbage. But can't discount the eyeshadow under the eyes and the grease in the hair that we used copious amounts of grease and oil. And I remember at one point shooting the sex scene just being absolutely covered in grease and it's feeling so sticky, and then having to collide with another body that was also so sticky. That was the first shot of the day of a 20-hour day. So that was just it just rolls through,
That sounds amazing, actually. You're like the stickiness and the sweat. But you got to get that. Yeah, a little glycerin on the skin really pops on camera. I know it's probably not the most comfortable thing for the actors, but that's how you get kind of that junky look too, the sweat.
Yeah.
So we got bottles of that and just cake.
It was uncomfortable watching it.
Yeah,
I mean, just because you felt so bad for your characters because they were a mess.
Yeah.
And you're kind of. Yeah, it was really well done because you're rooting for them in a way, but at the same time, you're like, get it together. You guys are a mess.
That's good. And part of Cody and I's process was the times that we were fiending and we were really having our blowout arguments. We would purposefully challenge each other to not eat as much as we could for that day. And so we would be kind of.
So you're like hangry.
Yeah, we're hangry. We're a little bit on edge. We tried to have that component of the instinctual need and want that an addict would have to contribute to that.
Yeah, it was really, really good. So has your family seen the film?
Yeah. So
how did they handle it? Because that'd be rough.
Well, you mentioned that you saw it with your family, and I imagine it wasn't as awkward as my family.
Tell them about the last screening, Lexi.
Yeah, I think it was my dad, my brother, my uncle, and my grandma.
Were you sitting with them?
No, I think I might have even left the theater at one point.
Yeah. No, your uncle left the theater, Lexi, remember?
Oh yeah, he was like, I'm out. I don't think he came back.
Yeah, no, it was during the first, when you started making out with Cody in the bathroom, he's just like, I'm out.
Yeah. I think they found him at a Cactus Club nursing a strong drink after that. But I mean, and I see this too. I watched the movie again last night after, not seeing it for a few months, and even watching myself, I'm like, that doesn't seem real. It doesn't feel like me. And a lot of my friends and family
good acting.
That they didn't see and equate me with doing those actions. It was my character who happens to look sort of like me, is what a lot of my friends and family
said
to me, which is good. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, that's pretty great. So Rob, remind me, did you take this? You took this movie first to some of the film festivals, right?
Ooh, that was a tough one too, Michael, because it was literally our festival circuit was exactly during the pandemic. So,
Right.
you know, we got into not the international festival, but the Toronto Independent Film Festival.
Yeah.
But then a lot of these film festivals, you know, the whole kind of point is to go there physically and like go to the city and interact. And then a lot of film festivals just ended up being these, you know, online, just, you know, which is just not the same. So unfortunately, we got hit with that a lot. But we did end up having a great, our distributor 4x3 are in Cincinnati. So we did have a nice, awesome premiere in Cincinnati and also in Los Angeles as well that Lexi was at. So we had some good theater screenings. Unfortunately, the, you know, the film festival circuit was a little bit shaky because a lot of them are online, but hey, what can you do? We're here, we're okay.
That's right.
And, you know,
that's right. That's a shame though, because I think that's kind of a fun way to go if you can do that. But everybody ran into that.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the thing, right? So it's just part of the reality of the time.
Yeah.
But hey, what can you do?
We were in or at Sundance 2020. So we got back from Sundance and like immediately went into lockdown.
Oh, that's literally like the week or two before, yeah.
Yeah, and then right? You know, and then I think they, at least for the following year, they were virtual.
Yeah, absolutely. I think even last year, was it 2021? Yeah, our distributor tried to go, but it was a mess because the tickets. Yeah, it ended up being virtual. So what can you do? Yeah,
nothing at all. I'm glad to hear that Cincinnati went well because we had Stephen on the show last year. I think it was last year, and he was talking about. Maybe. Yeah, he was talking about that was upcoming. Like he was excited about it with that. So I'm glad that went good.
Yeah, Stephen's the man. Yeah, shout out to Stephen.
His character is, I was telling you off camera, he's terrifying at times.
That's good.
I mean, it's such a good job acting, and yeah, he's been in a few things that we watched him on Once Upon a Time, you know, with when the kids were younger, and got to and he was on iZombie and the movie Tully. I thought he was really good in, but he takes it to a whole nother level in this one.
Yeah, that's Fresno, you know. Entertaining character. And again, he just kind of inhabited the role, owned the role right from his audition. It was on. Like we showed that to our friends that are like, oh shit, this is the guy. Like you can't even see past the performance, you know. And Lexi, what did you think when Stephen was all up in your grill and yelling at you? And were you terrified?
Well, yeah, I was mentioning this beforehand. The very first day that I met Stephen on set, I was covered in grease and oil. I looked horrible, and I walked in, and I didn't really look like an actor at the time. And he rolls in, and he just screams, "Where's Zoe?" And so I'm shaking in my boots, and that was how we filmed basically the whole day. Was this weird wall he put up because he was playing this really scary character, and I was kind of scared of him. Like there's moments where I'm screaming back at him and my voice is breaking, not because I'm like getting really actory. It was because I was genuinely a little bit afraid of him. And as he was describing what he would do to me, I was like, oh my God, it was offensive. But afterwards we officially met and he shook my hand and we became people again. And he's a very lovely, very serious actor. But I told him,
I was like, it's not a good thing, but I think he could have a career in the drug trade if he wanted to.
You know, he has a little sordid past, if you know what I mean. But Lexi, you remember that scene? Yeah, I remember because you had the gun in Stephen's face and you had to get really pumped up. I remember just getting you pumped. I was like, let's do this. Like you got to match his level, you know? And then I remember after, Stephen was loving it. Yeah, it's always badass. She hit that level, you know. Yeah. You got in his face.
Like you were, absolutely. I think I said this before, but you were terrific. I mean, just really believable acting, like uncomfortably believable. Really good.
That's funny you mentioned that because the day that I actually got cast as Zoe, the same day I broke up with my ex-boyfriend who was a drug addict. And so in a way, I was kind of playing this bad, dark side that he brought out in me in his addiction. And so I could empathize with the power of addiction, but also kind of this I don't give a shit attitude. It's very like self-serving. And I think Zoe's character, she's so passionate, but she's also very selfish and kind of does whatever she wants. And I really drew from my own life experience in that. So thank you.
Yeah, well, it was believable. Have you heard from him since the movie came out?
Not even a little bit. Nope. I haven't heard from him since the day I literally broke up with him in the car, got out of the car, walked across the street to the Starbucks and got the role.
That's hilarious.
Was that right when we had that Starbucks meeting and gave you the, oh, wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, I said, get out of my car. And then I also got out of the car and went to the meeting.
There you go. Yeah, but that was part of, with Lexi, when you were just in the zone, you moved cities too. Like Lexi moved to Vancouver in that moment just to do the movie and to start a new kind of life and career in Vancouver, because Lexi was living in Victoria, right, where I am. And so Lexi was kind of in the zone, it was just the right time, right place, where everything in her life kind of put her on the right course, I think, to crush out this role. Right, Lexi, you thinking?
Yeah, I think I definitely lost a lot of my inhibitions and my safety net, so I could jump into this completely free-spirited, passionate person who is a bit of a nomad and goes where she sees fit. Kind of.
you were like sleeping on people's couches and like on set, me and you sometimes like we're like, oh, is there a bedroom in this place? You just crashed there.
Yeah, we both were kind of, Rob and I were living out of our cars at this time because again, we both were from Victoria and we were living, anytime there was a set that we rented, it was like, sweet, you get the bedroom, I'll sleep on the couch, I'll sleep here.
Yeah.
We survived off of set life.
Yeah,
but that was fun. At the same time, it's fun. You're immersed. You're 100%.
Well, yeah, and it probably helps with the bonding cast-wise when you go through that together.
Exactly. I had an interview ask, filming during the pandemic, did that make you close? And I was like, we actually filmed before, but we were still a skeleton crew who worked exclusively with like 5 or 6 people most of the time. So we did spend a lot of time in really close comfort. So we did become very close and it was easier to collaborate in that way. And I really respect Rob as a director for allowing the actors room to collaborate on this film.
Yeah. I think it's really great. So it was a difficult role. Did you have any issues getting out of that role? Any problems after it was done filming? Because, some actors do. When you get immersed in that type of role, that can be difficult.
It's a great question. I don't think I had difficulties getting out necessarily, but I think the things that I learned in researching for this project have stuck with me. So
yeah,
in Vancouver, I'm not sure if you're aware, but heroin and opioid use is quite rampant and it's getting even worse with the pandemic. So during the process for researching for this role, I did spend a lot of time looking into the sort of Skid Row of Vancouver. And even now, my research kind of brings back these memories in my life when I see things happening on the streets, and I'm glad to be free of the role and that it was just a part that I played, but a lot of people, that is their reality, and that stuck with me. Yeah.
I think that's part of the reason the movie kind of struck home with us, because we have a similar issue in West Virginia with that, especially with heroin. That's a problem that we've dealt with for the last decade or so. So it kind of struck home a little bit. So you have some empathy for those characters.
Definitely empathy. And I think at least in my opinion, we tried not to glamorize the addiction, because yes, there is moments where it looks incredible, and that's for every addict. They have that first high where it is unreal, and that's why they get hooked, but then it very quickly becomes a very negative thing that affects, and our characters got out pretty lucky in the end. A lot of people don't experience that. So yeah, it showed the good and the euphoria, but it also really quickly showed the bad.
Yeah. So Rob, we got to talk about this soundtrack.
Oh,
with that, really good. So I know you're a musician. Is some of that, did you write some of that, or is that some original stuff, or did you kind of curate the soundtrack?
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, the music is by myself and composer collaborator Michael Chambers, and we collaborated on that. Yeah, maybe that's what you were saying earlier about little '80s vibe, because the music
Yeah.
we have a little bit of '80s synth vibe, like kind
I think
of
that's it. I think that's it.
But then also there's a little bit of modern kind of Trent Reznor style as well that we tried to go for. But yeah, I mean, I'm more of a guitar player, so I would kind of strum some chords in the tone and kind of, you know, send him guitar demos, and then he would kind of come back with the full synth production. And it worked really well, and we're really happy about it. And then it exceeded my expectations. I think it really adds to the movie. Again, it's kind of like a punch to the face because the music's coming in hot. We're coming in hot on this movie. You know what I'm saying?
Are you going to release a soundtrack?
Yeah, we're going to. Yeah, in the next couple weeks. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really it's really good. And I think that's part of it because, you know, it used to be when movies came out, the soundtrack was as big a deal as the movie. And we, you know, recently it's not, you don't have that as often, but this one felt like, you know, that was pretty good. That was music you would listen to.
Cheers. Yeah. No, I appreciate that, Michael. That's awesome. Yeah, no, we're gonna definitely release the soundtrack coming up here pretty quick, and we're gonna push it and see what happens. So yeah, that's good to hear, Michael.
Yeah, it was really, really good. Lexi, do you play an instrument?
No, my body is my instrument.
Oh my God. You play a mean triangle.
I can play a mean tambourine.
Yes, I can't even do that. I've got no rhythm. Yeah, because that's what they always say, right? Just here you go. You know, my wife works for Live Nation, so she's constantly dragging me to festivals and stuff, and they're always doing that. Get up on stage with us. With that, and I was like, I'm not musical at all. No, you can play. Here's a tambourine. I was like, that doesn't mean nothing. All I'm going to do is screw your song up.
You got to be on. With one time, in one of my old bands, we brought a guy up as a joke to play the cowbell. And yeah, he had no rhythm because you think it'd be easy, you know, just like.
No, it's not. You gotta at least feel the beat.
I know he was not on the beat, and it was a disaster. So we learned our lesson. Yeah, you got to make sure someone's got a little bit of rhythm. I think Lexi could pull off some cowbell, though. I think so.
You got to have attitude with cowbell. Yeah, you got to have attitude with cowbell.
I actually own a cowbell. So during the pandemic, when we would clap at 7 o'clock, I'd play my cowbell out the window.
There you go.
So Rob, if I remember right, Steven had mentioned that you might be working on like a prequel, sequel type of thing to this movie. Is that true?
A Fresno spinoff. Yeah, nice. We're working on it. We're just in the early stages of the script. You know, so that could be the next one. That could be the next one, Michael, going back into it. So we'll see. It'll be a different style movie, though, a little bit more like, you know, The Departed meets Stand By Me. So a little bit of a different vibe, but going back into it. Let's see. We'll see how she goes.
Yeah, that's exciting. When did you discover that you could write a little bit?
Well, my dad was a bit of a writer, and then I think it came. I wrote music and lyrics, you know, before, you know, since I was, you know, 13, 14. And then that's when I started kind of coming up with, also was really into movies. I was a pretty big film buff and rock and roll guy by 14. You know, I guess that's still kind of what I'm into. And then, you know, it took a long time before, you know, I was really focused on music, and I would have little movie ideas, but more like adaptations of films or like big biographies, because you have no understanding of budget when you're young. But then it wasn't until, you know, later in my mid-20s when I started actually coming up with original movie ideas, you know what I mean? So it took a long time, if you think about it. I was 10 years of, you know, thinking about making movies until I actually came up with original story ideas. And then from there, then you just start coming up with more and more and more. And then, then all of a sudden you're writing them down.
Yeah, is making a music video similar to making a movie, or are they completely different?
It's very much it's similar in a way. I mean, that's how I learned. That's how I started. Was just doing music videos, because they're a lot easier though, because Lexi, as you because Lexi modeled as well. like models do really well in music videos because you just kind of like look this way, look like this. You know what I mean? You're not dealing with audio or dialogue. So in a way, it's easier, but it is a learning process. So for me, it was always learning towards, you know, the goal of making feature films. But yeah, there's a lot of similarities, a lot of differences, but the big one is sound. You know, the sound is done in a music video. It is done and it's perfect. You know what I mean? So there's that. But a lot of the rhythm and the timing and the flow, I learned a ton, and I tried to put in a lot of my strengths into River Road, my music video strength, you know, with some of the montage sequences, and as you mentioned, the music itself, and just the way it edits and flows, you know, kind of comes from learning on music videos.
So, was there any disasters on set? Any of those days where something went completely wrong that you weren't expecting?
Yeah, I don't know if I want to tell the story. Oh, Lord.
Lexi said yes.
Yeah, we were shooting. I'll just tell it, whatever. Yeah, we were shooting a scene. So what you do is when you're shooting with airsoft guns, like pellet guns, not real guns.
Right.
So, and what you do is you call the cops and you say, hey, we're shooting at this location with, you know, airsoft guns, and it's usually all hunky-dory. And we were
you know what? I've never thought of that, but that makes complete sense. You have to alert the authorities if you're filming. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I know there's the Alec Baldwin incident. It's a different type of incident, and that's, you know, sad and that it's horrible. But you know, we were warned that actors had been shot, I think in Toronto a few years ago. You know, you got to be careful. And then one time we changed locations last minute. We were just doing a pickup shoot, and it was raining, so everyone was running into the vans. And we changed locations last minute, and we were tired, we were stressed, and we forgot to call it in. So let's just say a little SWAT team rolled up on us, and you know, it was kind of crazy. But hey, they didn't fire on us. I know it's crazy too, because you know, police shootings and stuff. But hey, they did a great job. Thank you for police. They came on us hot.
I was gonna say that would have to be kind of terrifying, though.
Yeah. I was with the camera. You know, they came on us. Vancouver police, get down. They had, you know, about 3 black SUVs. There was another guy coming in from the corner because someone had seen us shooting through the trees, right? And all our crew had scattered because it started raining down. Because also we wear like bright colored construction vests, reflective vests, you know, some of the crew, but they were all in the van. So like someone saw us through the trees somehow, called the cops, and because we had Cody was in a motorcycle mask and with a fake gun. She's like, where's the mask? Where's the gun? And they came in hot, and then I was just on my stomach on the pavement with my hands spread out. I didn't want to say anything to startle the cops. I didn't want them to fire, so I kept it calm. And then I was like, "We're filming." They're like, "You're filming?" Like they were fired up, you know. And then they gradually started to settle, and then the mood started to change a little bit. And then all of a sudden, they started like joking around and kind of like clowning us out. They're like, oh, you guys need to change your underwear. And we're like, what? And then it all shifted. And by the end, in true Canadian fashion, they apologized to us. He's like, really sorry you had guns on you today. And next time, make sure you call in the right location. And
that seems like something you would put like after the credits, you know, like a blooper reel.
But again, I mean, we pride ourselves in safety, you know, and, you know, we made a mistake and we're never going to make that one again. And it's also a series of unfortunate events that, you know, that happens with the rain and everyone. But hey, we made it through, and it's a good lesson learned for all you folks out there. Don't shoot, you know, be very careful shooting with fake guns, even if they're, you know, airsoft. But hey, there's a crazy story for you, Michael.
That's a pretty good story. And yeah, it never occurred to me that, you probably need to let people know if you're filming, because the point is for it to look real.
Yeah. Let them know.
I'm surprised that doesn't happen more often.
Yeah. No, exactly. Yeah. I mean, but usually there's enough people around. As Lexi said, you drive by in Vancouver, a lot of sets and things being filmed. Usually there's enough people around where people know. But in this case, we had a small crew, and that's, you know, that's what happened.
I think you need to do a YouTube channel with Fresno.
Yeah.
Where you're just putting him out there interacting with normal people. So he'd be like the guy at the drive-through window taking their order.
Yeah.
Or maybe at the coffee shop, placing an order, but he's just in character doing that role. I think that would be hilarious.
Yeah. We might actually do some of that for a promo for the movie, little clips,
You should. I just think that would be hilarious.
Well, I'm thinking we should do Lexi dressed up as Fresno, in character as Fresno.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah. Do you guys want a freezy?
I do. It's hot out here. I want a freezy. Just like Fresno on the street, like Lexi handing out freezies to people.
I would watch that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That'd be pretty good. That'd be pretty good. So have you ever thought about doing just a straight up comedy? Because there was a few moments in there that were comedic.
Yeah, no, there's definitely, I like doing those little comic relief spots. I think the thing with comedy, it's tough. I think comedies are hard as a film genre. I don't know. That's a tough one. I mean, I'd be down at some point for sure, but even right now, it seems like there's not that many comedic films happening.
No, there's really not.
Yeah.
There's really not. I mean, that was one thing, like back in the 80s, we had all kinds of those. But it's kind
80s
of,
and 90s, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of died off the last 20 years or so.
But yeah, we'll see. You never know. The time might come. But right now we're keeping it real. We're keeping it gritty.
That's right. Keeping it gritty. What about you, Lexi? Is there a genre that you haven't got to do that you would like to try?
Well, as much as the Marvel cinematic everything is taking over, I still think it would be really extremely fun as an actor to be strapped into a machine and fly around a giant green screen. I think that's on my bucket list to do some cool. We did a couple sort of stunts on River Road, and a lot of the stunts happened without me involved, but driving a boat stunt was very exciting.
Oh, yeah.
I'd like to continue doing more kind of fun action stunts. I go canyoning down rivers and rock climbing and stuff. So
yeah. So you didn't have a stunt double doing that stuff? That was you doing it?
No, we showed up to the boat scene and I was like, I feel like I can drive a boat.
Yeah.
Did it.
Famous last words.
I mean, I've grown up on fishing and all that stuff, so I've driven boats before, but the stunt boating was something to add to my resume. That was very fun and exciting. So yeah, just getting to do, like, the whole point of being an actor is playing someone that is totally different from your life. So keeping on doing ridiculous, magical things that don't exist in the real world is something I'm looking forward to.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's terrific. And Rob, you had a little role in the film, right?
Just a little cameo, Michael, just to, just get in there a little bit. I've reduced myself to cameo status, but yeah.
If I was making stuff, I would absolutely put myself in there in a cameo. You have to. If
I had your awesome accent, I would be in there more. But
well, you guys need to come to West Virginia to film.
Oh, 100%. I'm in.
Maybe, Zoe relocates to West Virginia, tries to straighten herself up.
What would we cast you as, Michael? I think I'm getting some crazy, some sort of pimp, I'm thinking.
Ooh. See, now I would never have suggested that, but now that you brought it up.
See, I'm seeing car salesman with a heart of gold who gets roped into
totally do a heart of gold.
Money laundering and crime.
All of a sudden, Michael's the lead. Michael's the lead now. Yeah.
I got promoted like within seconds.
Yeah, I had him as like a weird cameo, like deviant.
Well,
and Lexi just promoted you to the fucking
she
lead.
promoted me, but I think your instincts are right. We need it to be a very small role.
We're pretty much writing a movie as we speak.
I think that's it. We've got this great, mountainous region for you guys to film in.
No, actually, I do. I am also working on a bit of a Western script. That's a bit of a bigger project. I do actually, straight up, not making this up, I got a couple West Virginia scenes in there. I'm not lying.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Well, if you need a body, I'm your guy.
There's a little bit of Civil War action. I think I'm going to get you in there.
I could play dead.
Okay, perfect. That's perfect.
Oh, a dead body.
Oh yeah, dead body.
Speak.
Hey, I've played a dead body in my day. So
Yeah.
it's harder than it looks.
Yeah, it probably would be. I'd probably totally jack it up.
Yeah, you probably,
Yeah.
I'd probably screw that up.
You're like, is this a zombie film?
But you come to West Virginia to film, we'll put you up in the studio. Then you guys won't have to worry about your sleeping arrangements. No car sleeping.
Gotcha.
Done. In.
Yeah. We'll at least get you somewhere to sleep.
Sounds good.
Great.
Good. My first movie was a camping movie, and we just brought tents, and we're like, here you go.
Oh, was that Dark Cove?
Yeah. That was my first movie, Dark Cove. Yeah, we were at no hotels on that bad boy, just straight in the tent. Yeah, that was controversial though. I won't do that again. Actually,
Never say never. Well, so River Road, absolutely worth everybody's time to watch. One of my favorite movies that I've watched this year. I thought it was terrific.
Oh, cheers, Michael. That sounds great, dude. I love it.
Yeah. I've been looking forward to watching it ever since we had Steven on. I was like, we gotta watch this movie, and then we got the crew, and so it wasn't just me. It wasn't just me saying this is a good movie. I got and with our group, we've got 4 kids. Mm-hmm. It's very diverse. They all have different tastes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So 3 of them absolutely loved it, and then my oldest, she really liked it, but she was also very uncomfortable.
Okay, because she means it works.
Like she's the Christmas movie.
Mm.
That's her genre is Christmas movie. So it was a little rough on her, but she liked it. Mm-hmm. But yeah, she had her eyes closed some.
But that's good. I mean, if someone's super into Hallmark Christmas movies, they shouldn't really love the movie, But as long as it gets under their skin, then it means that it's working,
Well, and she said the acting in it was just terrific with that. And I thought you did a really good job. The acting, terrific. Really good job with the dialogue. It was it's very believable. The interactions between the characters and just the dialogue. You believed it, which a lot of times I think that's where movies get tripped up. Is the dialogue isn't believable.
That's what I was trying to do. And again, and some of the lines, people would kind of just say it the way they would say it because we want a natural feel to kind of get you absorbed in the movie, and then it leaves room for when Fresno comes in hot. Then you're like, whoa, what's going on here? Kind of like in Platoon, Oliver Stone does that very well. It kind of like everyone's so believable and natural, and then when Tom Berenger gets in there, you're like, whoa. That, and also just like I like, that's the thing about some foreign language films, like British movies. You're like, I can't, like even Trainspotting, like I can't see through the performances. It just seems so natural. So that's what we went for. And if you guys believed it, that's great. It sounds like it worked. So that's what we're going for.
Lexi, did you get to improvise any?
Yeah, I mean, Rob did leave a lot of room in the dialogue. Obviously, we kept pretty close to the script, but there was many times when things would get really heated and we'd add some swears here and there, or we'd have some a little bit extra into the dialogue. And that was kind of the fun part. Like I said before, it felt like we were making a movie together. We weren't just actors showing up and reading from a page. We all had this small part in the direction of where it went, and all grounded by Rob's incredible script and direction. So yeah, it was a very fun time.
But Lexi, remember me and Lexi, we rehearsed, we improv a little bit in rehearsal. Remember, Lexi? And then I typed it in.
Oh yeah. That's the one thing about me is I'm notorious. I forget a lot of things. So yes, I do remember that. we did some sessions where we riffed off of each other and created more natural dialogue as we could. So yes, thank you, Rob, for jogging my memory on that.
Was that intentional, Rob? Was to be kind of collaborative?
Yeah, I mean, it always is. I mean, that's the one thing about Lexi too, is part of the reason why we cast her, because she was just so, we got along, and she was just so easygoing and kind of collaborative. yeah, that's what you want. You want to collaborate as much as you can. And because when the clock is ticking and you're on set and it's stressful, it gets crazy, you know, and you just want, if everyone's on the same page and has this, you know, then it's great. Everyone's collaborating, but it's when people are on different pages, that's when it gets wild. So definitely Lexi and Cody, you know, pretty much, and the three of us, we were all on the same page, I think, you know, 99% of the time on this one. So it's kind of what got us through, you know, it's so quick and so guerrilla style, low budget that, you know, the team, you gotta have the team. So
I didn't think it looked like a low budget movie.
Cheers, thanks. Yeah, I mean, that's another thing that we tried to do too was, you know, give it a bit like those candy colors and, you know, give it a look. If only you had seen behind the scenes and you'd see like me with a couple duffel bags.
Like, I didn't know you guys were sleeping on the couch on the set and stuff. I
mean, yeah, that was some of the time, but actually that was actually nice because I was staying at our other producer's place. It was like some of those, the cabin was actually great. I was in the master bedroom suite, balling out of control. So you know.
Well, and I don't want to shortchange Cody. I thought he was terrific, and I love him on Riverdale, but I thought he was really good in this.
Yeah, he was
the one who plays on Riverdale.
He was such a fun actor to work with because you could tell he cared so much about the product and the character, and he was beating himself up that he didn't have as much time to prepare as everyone else, but you really couldn't tell on the day because he is such a passionate actor, and to work off of him.
Yeah, that has to be stressful coming in last minute.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
To be honest, I think it worked to his advantage because a couple of the other actors, I think part of the reason why it didn't work out is sometimes you could get in your head a little bit, whereas he just like, boom, he had 1 week, just hit the ground running. And also I think it's just his temperament. I think he actually enjoyed that fact. He's like, boom, let's go, boom, 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 boom.
That makes sense. I would be that way. Like if I had too much time, I would totally get in my own head. Better to just go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just because he can't sit around and be like, am I the right person? You know, it's just all the way, go for it. You know, so maybe. Well, again, you have to.
Should I be playing a dead guy? I don't know.
You're still right now. You're stressing about your dead guy.
I'm already worried about it.
Well, I think, and with Cody, his script in Riverdale is usually given to him the day of, so he's kind of used to that.
He's used to that.
Figure it out, and I helped him a few times doing self-tapes outside, doing for other roles, and he would just see a script and he would pick it up so quickly and be able to shoot it after reading it once or twice. So he has that working actor mentality where you can throw something on him and he's able to just take it on and knock it out of the park in a way that I've not seen on a lot of actors before in my work.
Yeah, if I didn't know that I had seen him in other things, I would not have recognized him.
Yeah, he definitely brought the grit.
Yeah.
And it's great for him, I think, because he plays this like CW character who, you know, he had some things to say about his role. So I think for him, it was nice to break free of that like CW style.
Yeah. They definitely have that kind of, you know, teen angst type of style.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys so much. This has been terrific. The movie is wonderful. So you can check it out now on Apple, but this Friday we can watch it pretty much everywhere.
Yeah. Amazon, YouTube Movies, Google Play.
Yeah. So River Road, absolutely terrific. You definitely want to make sure you've had a good night's sleep before you watch it. You know?
Yeah.
You know, make sure you might want some Gatorade or something because it's a
you want to hydrate before this fucking movie.
You got to hydrate before you watch this.
Dude, Michael, I'm liking how intense you thought it was. That gets me pumped, actually. I like it that you and the family were stressing. That's great. It sounds weird to say. I'm glad
we enjoyed it. It was one, and here's the nice thing when you're watching it, like at home or in the studio, is you can pause it. So we had some pauses because you had, you know, you could take your bathroom breaks or whatever you need to, or like we did, we'd pause it, talk about it a little bit, and then started back up again.
Yeah.
So that's the advantage of not seeing it in theater. Although I bet it is fantastic in a theater.
Cool.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely an
sound system.
experience.
Yeah, with the sound and the music pumping and
Yeah.
surround
That's
sound.
one that I would have liked to have seen in theater just for the music.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because I thought the music was so good. So okay, so a couple things before we wrap up. So Lexi, anything that you're working on currently that we can kind of keep an eye out for?
Well, I have my YouTube channel that I'm very badly neglecting. And
Yeah.
you mentioned your wife worked for Live Nation. I'm actually working right now with my partner in the event industry. So I've been a little bit offline when it comes
Really?
to the acting scene, but I'm really looking forward to working with Rob and potentially producing the Fresno spinoff. So
Yeah, we're getting her on board as a producer because Lexi's good at getting shit done, you know?
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to some behind the scenes stuff, and we'll see what the future holds.
Mhm.
Well, so run through your social media, YouTube and everything else.
Yeah, so my Instagram is Lexi Redman, Lexi Redman, like it sounds. And my YouTube is Lex Electric, because on the side, I'm also an electrician. So that's
no, you're not.
right. Yeah.
She's a
All right.
model electrician.
Yeah. In a million years, I never would have guessed that.
Yeah.
So now
Canadian girls, man.
When you guys
Canadian.
come to West Virginia, I got a little bit of work for you.
You and everyone else I need.
It's because you can't find a good electrician.
That's true. Yeah. So I wear many hats, that's for sure. So it's
that's
Some
awesome.
of them hard.
the next one.
Oh.
So what about you, Rob? So I know you've got the Fresno spinoff.
Yeah,
Anything
to be honest,
you're
those
working
are the
on?
main ones, and then I told you that Western one, you know?
Oh, I hear you.
Got a dog.
That's my dog. I'm sorry.
Oh, I thought maybe Steven had shown up.
Steven, down, boy. Steven.
So, okay, Rob. So what about you? What's your social media?
Yeah, I mean, you could, if you just go to at River Road Movie on Instagram, you can link up with my personal Instagram. That's probably, we're on Instagram probably the most. I'd say that's the way to go. Just at River Road Movie, pop on over, and we'll be throwing up some cool behind the scenes interviews. And also, if you follow Lexi's stuff, she's got some cool reels, some funny stuff of the making of the movie, and just kind of some entertaining tidbits.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. So, do you still get out and play some? Are you still performing anywhere?
I haven't performed in a long time. I'm doing some music. There's a couple songs of my songs in the movie, like when they're in the recording studio. So releasing that as well on the soundtrack. So we'll see. You know, getting back into it a little bit here. We'll see what happens in the next year. I would like to. It's been a while. I'd like.
Oh, look at that! There we go. That's a good boy.
I got the good girl. She needed
good girl.
Experience. Yes.
Yeah. She just wanted a little camera time.
Yeah, that's right. She's guard dog. There was someone entering the office, so she was doing her job.
Yeah, she's doing her job.
Yeah,
that's terrific. So I'm assuming, Rob, that once you get the soundtrack ready to come out, you'll put that out there on social media, so we'll know where to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Get that.
Yeah, it'll be out there, and it'll be available on Spotify and all the platforms as soon as that bad boy's out. And we'll shoot you a little email or something.
Yeah. Let me know. Because I'm a big fan of the music. I thought it was terrific.
Yeah,
really good.
We'll keep I want you to practice your dead man role.
I'm going to practice my dead man and maybe my cowbell.
Yeah.
Just
good.
In case.
I like it.
I'm going to explore the space a little bit.
Yeah, do it.
In both.
Yeah, that's cowbell, and I play corpses on the resume. Corpses and cowbell.
Great band name.
Yeah.
Ooh. Yeah, don't steal that.
Yeah, we'll let you have that. You can have that, Michael.
Corpses and cowbells. I'm in. So you guys have to come back when you get the prequel ready or the Western, whatever it is. You guys got to come back and talk about it.
100%, man. This is fun.
Yeah, it's been terrific. Thank you so much for coming on for a little bit. That was a good hour.
Thank you, Michael. Cheers, man.
Yeah. This has been the best. Okay, hold on one second. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that. The movie is River Road. It's out right now on Apple, but when you're watching this, it's going to be everywhere. It is excellent. Do yourself a favor, watch it. Terrific acting, well written, great dialogue. Love the soundtrack. Definitely check that out. So that was Rob Willey and Lexi Redman. And those of you that follow the show, I'm sure have watched or listened to our interview with Stephen Roberts. He is just a terrific actor as well. So if you want to learn a little bit more about the movie, definitely check that interview out as well. Thank you guys so much for tuning in again this week. We definitely appreciate that and don't take it for granted. If you haven't done so yet, we can use the help with our YouTube channel, MeisterCon Pod. If you could subscribe, that would really help us out. It's free and it'll give you access to, right now, I think we're on 435 interviews. So definitely check that out. And you can also find all of those audio and video on our website, MeisterCon.com. If we're doing something in studio, like watching River Road, that'll be on the website. You know, if we're going on location, if we're covering a convention, whatever we're doing, be on the website, MeisterCon.com. So definitely check that out as well. Thank you guys so much. Till next time. Bye, everybody.